Hello, my name is CarX82 and welcome back to our GregTech New Horizons Season 2. Last episode, just thinking, should I throw a sign on there? I guess I could, but it's technically silicon as well I'm producing. Last episode, we were dealing with all the items that we are getting from our greenhouse. That's totally not going to be centered, isn't it? Nope, no sign. I don't want a sign on there. It's going to bug me if it's off-centered. And I was trying to figure out the item filters, and what I've actually done is replace that chest. I didn't like the chest because it could only fit one item, so it was toggling this on and off constantly. And I just didn't like it, so I've actually replaced it with a chest buffer. And what I've done is use the lowest tier 1 possible, because this only moves an item one every 20 seconds. So what this is actually doing is pulling out the silicon into the A system, which is what I want it to do, and it barely moves the items, and when it can, it tries to put them in this input bus, and there is no room, so it can't output anyway. So that's kind of what I come up with. Eventually this will fill up, and this will probably be toggling on and off. I don't know, we'll see. Also, I upgraded the pipes because the other ones just weren't moving items fast enough. This was actually producing more items than we could move. Also, I just noticed those pipes have arrows on them already. It's kind of like, looks like the arrows are facing each other? I don't know. Weird. I'll have to check these out. I haven't really done restrictive item pipes. Basically, it just tells it to, if you put the restrictive item pipe is, it says when you're checking it, do that one last kind of thing. So kind of like if you're doing a round robin. The problem is the pipes don't sort. I wish they did. But it's kind of like, as a last resort, put the items in here, kind of like an overflow. But yeah, so what I've done is that. So I think we can see these are actually pulling this out. That is turning on. And yeah, we're getting our magnesium back and the silicon, and we are producing lots of oxygen. But like I said, eventually this will fill up, but it is pulling the silicon out, and it can't put it in there anyway. So not sure how. Ooh, it's even like even these pipes can't transport it too fast enough. This just produces it way faster than I thought it would. I have this turned off once it hits 512 as well. This just doesn't go fast enough is the problem. I wonder if I could... Yeah, where it is, I don't really have access to IV power, unfortunately. Well, I could throw a second. Maybe I'll try that. Let me throw another hatch on there so it does IV. Maybe that will work. I just would prefer this not to toggle on and off quickly, because I have noticed in the past that can get really laggy. Yeah, so that is kind of what I'm... Like, what's going to happen when that happens? It's just going to go... doot, 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 doot. And it won't be able to fit the silicon in. This would be fine, maybe, if I could set a, like, only put silicon in this one. but I don't think that works. Okay, there we go. I have upgraded the power. I had to upgrade all the lines as well to hold more amps, but we can hold 16 amps of EV, so we should be good. I also upgraded the size of the hatches because I think they were too small. Yeah, there we go. I think, yeah, see, it's doing 10,000, so it would fill up over halfway with the hatch, and then it wouldn't be able to output it. So, all right, cool. Well, that's a pretty large source of oxygen, actually. I know I could have done that a long time ago, but never got around to it. Oh, yeah, that's completely full. That's hilarious. I think it was this stuff. I think we should be good with that now. It was going through the oxygen. My nitric acid was going through the oxygen. That's all filled up. Ammonia. Oh, yeah. Everything is good. I do need to get nitration stuff going. Oh, that's advanced glue. Just kidding. Nitration somewhere in here. I don't remember. Oh, just kidding. That is completely full as well. For our TNT that we're going to be... Man, look at all these things. They're like all filled. Holy cow. The oil ones aren't completely full yet because we don't get a whole lot of... We're only getting 10 millibuckets from that, so that's going to take a long time, but... Man, they are filling up. Some of these I don't have running fully because crafting up for 4,600 buckets of a plastic is a lot of resources. Alright. But yeah, there's PTFE. That's almost done. Polyethylene, PTFE. I think epoxid's kind of the next tier up. Just don't remember which one. Was it methane? I don't remember. There was one of them that was the bottleneck on epoxid. Wherever you are. Ooh, and silicone rubber. That was another one. I don't remember what the... I think it was oxygen as well, wasn't it? I don't remember. Okay, so that is that. I think I just need to keep working on... I'm just in my head. I'm like thinking of stuff, what I should do. The assembly line, we are still working towards that. What am I missing? Oh, 70,000 bytes. I can only do 1 or 2 of these at a time. Okay, we can do 2 at a time. I guess let me... well, I'll just start crafting these up again. And these are going quicker than... I remember these took, like, forever and ever. I mean, admittedly, I'm not doing them all at once. But, they are definitely... They have definitely been made easier with the advanced SMDs that has lowered the amount of wires and stuff that we need. But, okay, we'll let that craft up. And then I will go ahead and we'll see if there's any kind of bottlenecks that I can fix. But I think we've gotten everything fully automated at this point. There's a couple things in here that I haven't fully automated. Like these, obviously these require the Thaumcraft thing, so those aren't automated. But for the most part, I think we are good here. Also, I was thinking, do we really need all this black granite? I think maybe I should just throw a... Well, one, I do want to upgrade the Enderbloom seeds and the Blazeweed seeds to better stats, but I was thinking instead of the black stone lily, let's do 2 yellow stone lily, to be honest. because that's giving me platinum. That whole platinum line is we're getting from the yellow one. And we need lots and lots of platinum. We're up to, what are we up to? Well, we had almost 3,000. We just used a bunch for the assembly line. But, yeah, I think we're just chugging along here. Okay, so I have gone ahead and finished up those 2 assembly lines, or assembly machine casings, and I was just kind of taking a look and seeing what the slowest parts are. And the 2 slowest bits are all the energetic alloy that we need. I mean, I think I needed like, for the 2 is like 500. Yeah, you need like 1,000. So 273 per casing. So I did 2. It was almost 600. That takes a while to smelt, even with 4 blast furnaces going. So that was the slowest bit, and the other bit was the circuits, obviously. You need to craft up a bunch of these, and just going through the amounts. That was the slowest bit, but it really wasn't, other than those 2 things, it really wasn't bad at all. But I did have this, we're back here again. I had this running, and I was noticing, for some reason, the oxygen was like, it wasn't backing up or anything like that, and everything was just voiding, or it was just running, even though the tank over there was kind of full. And I don't really need this running like permanently like this. It's really just for a little bit of the silicon. I mean, I have 100,000 now. So this doesn't need to be running permanently. I was kind of doing it for the oxygen. And the other thing I noticed was this thing was running permanently. Like, it was never filling up and turning off, I was noticing. And I was kind of like, what is going on here? And so I decided to craft up, and this was a suggestion by Alex Predator on my Discord, to craft up the advanced memory card. And I thought I would just show that really quick. Cool thing is, if you click on a thing, you can see it right there. So I wanted to figure out what the heck was going on with that. So I clicked on it, and it kind of shows you all your whole P2P thing. Now, a lot of this stuff we don't have to worry about. I'm not going to use this to bind, because that is a bit confusing. Maybe I'll test it, but we can see there's our P2P input, and it has 4 outputs, and we can see them where they are. So there's the one I clicked on. Let's click on this one, because this is where they were all supposed to end up. So there's the input. We can see I have 1 there, 1 there. That's the one way over there. And I was trying to figure out, like, where the heck was this voiding? And I was realizing that what I've actually done when I switched the... Like, usually I have 1 input to 1 output. That's it. All these just have, like... Okay, as I'm, like, mousing over, they have more than that. Usually it's just a 1-to-1, so there's no other thing going on. But now that I've switched this to the input and the outputs, I think what is actually happening is when I'm producing oxygen, it can actually output into the other outputs instead of just the input thing. So what was happening was the oxygen was going somewhere, and I realized, having used this, that I had set something up a long time ago, and I don't even remember what it was for. But what was happening was that was connected, and it was just pushing all this oxygen through the output from the other outputs, and it was voiding it. So those things were running permanently. So, yeah, that Be careful with those P2Ps, with the input and the output if you are doing that. It looks like if you push the gas or fluid into an output, it can go to any of the other outputs. It's not going to the input. Whereas, I think... Yeah. Yeah, so you have to be careful with that. With multiple outputs, if you're feeding that into one input. I really wish it was just like... I wish you could just do multiple inputs into one output. But, you know, we can't do that. So, that is something to keep keep a thing on. Because, yeah, I was like, why is this thing running? It was like running permanently, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, this should be filling up. I do have stuff running. So it is actually using the oxygen at the moment. Like that's running, the molten epoxide is running, turning the stuff there, and I think I have this one down here is also using oxygen. So I am actually using oxygen, but I was like, yeah. But I also wanted to show the advanced memory card, which is pretty cool for seeing where everything is. Also, I was totally looking for a void. I couldn't find it. It's right here. I was like, where's the void? I thought there was a void on this. Nope, just kidding. It's right next to it. I could even throw, if I wanted to, I could even... No, I don't want to do that. Well, I mean, I guess I could actually connect that oxygen thing. But I do need that voided. But, alright, so there's like... There's another one. So input to the output. So fluorine only is going to that. So we won't have an issue with that. Because that's one input to one output. And that's it. But if I added another output somewhere, we'd have issues. Okay, we are back and I'm actually setting up these quadruple input hatches. I wanted to try these out. And I've that's kind of what I've come up with. I don't know if there's like an easier way to put... Yeah, I don't think there's going to be easier ways to put multiple input or P2P on one block. So I've just gone ahead and crafted up these quadruple things. And then just filled them. So there is the input hatches. Now I actually have four more spaces for that. Except now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I did that a bit silly. And maybe I should have... Yeah, maybe I should have... We're actually sharing... Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, we're actually sharing a maintenance hatch. I should just put the maintenance hatches on the outside. They don't need to be shared. And then probably... Should have figured this out before I started recording. It just kind of hit me. I was like, this is kind of silly. Yeah. So there is the maintenance hatch. Move that to the outside. Move this output bus to there. Although it is quite cramped under here with the vacuum freezer. I probably shouldn't have the vacuum freezer under here anyway. I could always... Actually, don't know. Find it easier just to do with the two fluid hatches and send them directly into there. But we could maybe do the... I don't think stocking hatch. That's not going to do... I mean, that would work for 16 of the hot ingots. But we're quickly going to grow out of... not every one of these has hot ingot variety. But These are just... Yeah, that's not all the hot ingots. There is tons of them. The reason I'm saying that is because doing it this way, you just saw nitrogen being used. That was for the platinum that I put in there. The fluids can bounce back and forth, so I'm kind of curious if I'm crafting up a large amount, is it gonna correctly fill these? Whereas maybe I should just have them shared, and then we could, you know, do something like that, and they all go into one. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Actually, would have been better. Let's try. Now we move this over here for the hydrogen, and I ended up kind of changing my mind. So we'll leave these here because these require the carbon. They're on their kind of own thing, and plus 4 of those for our tungsten. I do. Yeah. If I put these back, now that we have hydrogen back in here. Now we need 500 and something. It's like 500 and something energium. We'll just craft up 500. I think it's 576 is for 2 assembly line bits, which I've crafted up 2 more. We're getting there. Also, there is a quest, which kind of helps. So this one requires 15, so that's actually what I was going to do. I thought 11 was the right amount. So that's kind of what I'm working on. So the question is, will this feed hydrogen fast enough if it's bouncing around? I think I am going to just condense it down to 1 anyway. I mean, the output buses don't... the way I've set this up, the output buses do kind of have to share. I guess they don't. It would just make it harder to get the items into the vacuum freezer. Alright, there we go. All that is in there. It does seem to be... It seems to be fine. Alright, so we'll leave it, I guess. There's no reason to mess around with it. At this point, I think that'll be fine. Also, I don't know if that's actually faster. I think that is faster, having 2 LUV blast furnaces with better coils than 4 IV ones with lower coils, I think. I could be wrong, though. Alright, so there is that. Okay, so there we go. I got the 2 more assembler machine casings. I did actually put a new input bus in here for a dedicated 1 circuit. Usually I would have the 1, 2, and 11, but I was noticing that the recipes were actually clashing. Oops. And I can see it's not actually working there. I'm gonna have to sort this out. But yeah, when I had a 1 and 11, it was usually picking the cheaper recipe, but ever since I've upgraded it to the input hatch, it seemed to be choosing the 1. So I've put that on its own thing there, and there's just a few recipes on there. Neodymium was the one I realized wasn't gonna work, because that does need a 1. There is no other recipes for that, so I have just gone ahead and done that. But is this a 2? Oh, that's a 1 as well. All right, so as we can see, I'm gonna have to go through a few of these and split these out. I still don't love... Oh, I do right. I'm gonna do that. Now that I'm looking at that, I'm like, how are we gonna... Well, I mean, I can go from the side. But, doesn't look as nice. Yeah, that's the one kind of problem with splitting out the things. Although, I wonder if... I could probably... I don't know, I'll have to think about that one. But we'll find more recipes that are going to have issues since I only have the one there. I've split the 2 off. The 2 is in that group. And then this is the 1. And we'll just keep them separate. Alright, so that is that. Now I only need like 3 more of these. So we're chugging along. Alright, I can't... that's too big. I could probably craft up a whole bunch. Like, why don't I just craft up all the mainframe thing? Well, actually, before I do that, I'll just do that before we wrap up. I do want to check out, since we are crafting up the assembly line, as we know, these recipes get quite complicated, fluids, items. So I did want to try a new mod. Now, I think this is, well, obviously it's been added, but from what I'm seeing, we can actually start crafting with fluids. Before we couldn't do that. So I'm just so used to doing things like this. These need an item and a fluid, so then I put both in here, melt down the metal or whatever, and then the other item goes in there, which works perfectly fine. But when you start getting into these crazy recipes, we're going to want to do something a little bit better. Now, I don't know what all these do. I mean, I can guess what an ingredient buffer is and a large ingredient buffer. Dual interface, I'm assuming that has like items and fluid. I don't know. We'll see. None of this is very complicated. But I did want to just start kind of looking at this. And I've crafted up a fluid pattern terminal. So that one. There is a bigger one, which requires the assembly line. So I'm assuming that's probably a 4x4 crafting grid. Or maybe more. I don't know. But for this one, now we can do this. And we can, for example, tell it, okay, so I want soldering alloy and that. I want to make that a recipe. Well, now you can actually do that. Ooh. Is that, I don't know if that is, I guess 1 drop is 1 millibuckets? I don't know. I was just like, whoa, that's a big number. Alright, so as we can see, it also encodes the pattern a bit different. So I'm assuming it'll do something like this. It'll throw that in there. Now, does that go in... Oh, right, that's a P2P tunnel. That is not even an interface. I guess I want to... do have an interface. I was kind of wondering, like, do we need... Also, I have no idea what that does. I don't even know what that means. Say, let's do... I don't have room here. I need a fluid extractor is what I was... Without breaking down my entire base. Over here. Yeah, let's do this one. I'm just kind of curious if this is gonna work or not. So we'll do that. Just turn that off for now. We should have plenty of... Yeah, we're good. Although we do have 28 channels over here. I didn't realize there's 28 channels in this little area. Some I can actually condense. I can do these stocking input bus. So I gotta kind of go over the entire base and readjust it. Also, really quick, I'm all over the place right now, but I just remembered the output bus. I was saying the recipe is wrong. No, of course not, because it uses the output bus here. That's the one that uses the 2. So, yeah. That doesn't need to be a 2, because it's using an output bus. The other recipe uses an input bus. So, thanks for pointing that out. That was just a bit of a derp. Okay, so, there we go. Now, we can do that. And that, and it just... Alright, so there it goes. Now, I think we can put that in the AE system. Alright, let me get... Before we wrap up, I want to get a couple more things here. One, I want to craft up some of these. I need to do recipes for these. I've never made these before. And storage. Now, I'm noticing this only says one type. So that's a thing. But, yeah, we'll check it out. Okay, gone ahead and crafted up the dual interface because I wanted to check that out. And a fluid storage cell. Ironically, I think the 4K is, like, easier to do than the 1K. And it's totally because of the... This coated circuit board is annoying to craft up. I'm not farming sticky resin at the moment. So that circuit board's a bit of a pain. I mean, obviously we could do that, but that's a bit more expensive. But this one is actually, this circuit boards are really easy to craft up. So anyway, there is that. I'm gonna just throw it in here to check it out. Do we have any? Yeah. I guess I'll throw it down here. I'll probably just have a whole chest of these. If there's only going to be one fluid type in them, I'll probably just craft up like another one somewhere. Okay, let's check this out really quick. So we got that in there. I'm assuming this can do both. And I'm going to do the dual one, or the small one, just because I prefer those. I think they look cooler. Like seeing the channels. So what I'm assuming this can do is the recipe, and then auto output it into the A system. Now that we have a thing, yeah, that is kind of what I figured. And it should be in here. Yes. Alright, cool. So 144 millibuckets went down to 8 bytes. What is that ratio? Doing math really quick. 18. 18 millibuckets equal 1 byte. It's kind of a weird, bit of a weird thing. But, okay. So yeah, so that is that. Now, I could, and I'm going to have to redo all my recipes if I want to do it this way, which, to be honest, would probably be easier. I don't have to have fluid extractors full of this stuff. Although that one is not really used. Yeah, I guess it would. Yeah, I guess it would just go in. The recipe would say, okay, so we need 1,000 glowstone. That's how that would work. But I guess I'm just trying to figure out like which one I want to do. So like this one, we could just do. Is that the recipe we're doing? I think that is, yeah. Just kidding. Yep, there we go. So that inputs that directly into that. All right. Yep, I am a fan of that, being able to use fluid crafting like that. So let's try it really quick. I keep doing that. It's not items, it's in here we need to go. Let's switch this out really quick. Do this. I'm going to unhook this. Oh, we might need a... We'll probably need a... Do we need a dual one? I don't know. I actually don't know. Let's try it out. Does that need a dual one to put a fluid in here? Alright. Just crafting up that. Alright. So, we got a little bit of an issue. Okay, so I'm going to have to kind of figure that out. Did we actually have... We have molten soldering alloy in the A system. Alright, so why didn't want to use that? I may need a dual thing. So, yeah, it's going to take me a little bit of time figuring that out, how they work. Like, why didn't that put that in... Why didn't it put that in there? I'm not entirely sure, unless I need to... I may need to do this. Alright, there we go. That was the issue. But that is not recognizing that. Alright, so, yep, gonna have to do a little bit of testing. But anyway, that's gonna be for today, so thanks for watching, and have a good one.